Hello, my name is Cassandra Hernandez, and today I'll be going over different types of word parts, how to build terms, breaking words into parts, and I'll also be touching base on checking confusing words as well as common terms to know. The first type of word part that I'll be going over are root words. So root words usually represent a body part and are usually in the middle or the beginning of a term. Some examples of root words include osteo, which means bone, myo, which means muscle, and neur, which means nerves. Next, we have combining forms. So a combining form is a root word with a vowel attached to the end of it. This usually helps with aiding in pronunciation. Some examples of combining forms include cardio, which means heart, adeno, which represents glands, and angio, which means vessels. Next, we have suffixes. A suffix is a group of words that is placed at the end of a term to change the meaning of the term. These usually indicate procedures, conditions, disorders, and diseases. Examples of suffixes include emia, which means blood conditions, sclerosis, which represents hardening, and scopy, which means examine. Finally, we have prefixes. These are groups of words that are placed at the beginning of a term, which also change the meaning of the words. These usually indicate location, time, and number. Some examples of prefixes include tri, which means 3, hypo, which means low or deficient, and hemi, which represents half. To build terms, you will now need to combine these prefixes, roots, and suffixes. Some words only require a prefix and a root, while others only require a suffix and a root. Some words also require 2 or more roots in their word. A good example to use is hematology. Hematology is split into a root word and a suffix. If you notice, the suffix does not begin with a vowel, so we need a combining vowel to be in between the root and the suffix. So that turns it into hematology. Another example is electrocardiogram. If you notice here, it has 2 roots and a suffix. Since there's 2 roots, they would be electrocardiogram. You need a combining vowel with the end of both root words, since the following letter is not a vowel. Finally, we can see here in gastritis, it's a root word and a suffix. But since the suffix begins with a vowel, we do not need that combining vowel in the middle, so it's just gastritis. When breaking words into parts, there's 3 rules you need to abide by. First, you have to break the word into suffixes, prefixes, and roots. After that, to determine the meaning of the word, you have to start from the suffixes and work your way up to the prefixes. Then, the last thing you have to do is determine the meaning of each one by using a dictionary, a medical dictionary, and also to pay attention to the context that the word is being said in, because different words have different meanings based on its context. For example, to break down the word hypothermia, you break it down to its prefix, root, and suffix. The prefix is hypo, the root is therm, and then the suffix is ia. So you would work backwards to find the meaning of it. So ia means condition, therm means heat, and hypo means below normal. Another example is neurology. Neurology is only split into a root word and its suffix. The root word has attached to a vowel, so it means it's a combining form. So when splitting it apart, you split it into those 2, then you read it from the suffix to the root. So the suffix logy means study of, and then neuro means nerve, so it's a study of the nerves. Another word we can break down is hypoglycemia. We'll be breaking it down into a prefix, root, and suffix. So the prefix being hypo, the root being glyce, and the suffix being emia. So reading it from suffix to prefix, the suffix emia means condition, blood condition. The root glyce means sugar, and hypo means low. Many medical terms look and sound very similar, but their meanings are completely different. That's why it's very important to study these types of words. An example would be athero, which means a fatty substance, and arthro, which means joints. Another one would be ileum, which is the last portion of the small intestine, and ileum, which is the hip bone. We also have the example of ectomy, which is a surgical removal of something, and otomy, which is the medical incision. common suffixes and terms to know are gram, which is drawing, graph, which is the product of writing, graphy, which is printing or recording, scope, which is the instrument for visual examination, scopy, which is visual examination, tomy is a surgical incision, ectomy is a surgical removal of something, and stomy is a surgical opening.